Welcome to Hebrew Words in Scripture. This is lesson 13. Tonight we're going to look at verse 2, but let's break it into three parts. Let's just call them 2a, b, and c. And tonight we're going to look at the first part of 2a. We're going to look at the letters, the sounds, and make words out of the sounds. In our last lesson, we had the last word that we looked at was Heretz, meaning the earth or the land. The colon indicates the end of the first phrase or the first verse, and we start the next word. And we have the last four letters here are exactly Heretz. It's Vaharetz, which means Va means and, the He means the, and Eretz means the earth. Notice here, this is printing deficiency, I guess you would say. It's very hard to see that this is a He. We got the crosses at the top, and then there's a bottom part of the He. Kind of crowds over here on the Aleph. It makes it very difficult to read even modern manuscripts and text. It's sometimes hard to distinguish between the letters. But this would be then a Vav, a He, Aleph, Resh, Tzadik. It would be V, H, A, Retz, Vaharetz. This part of the verse starts out, and the earth was without form and void. And here we have the word was. This is a very important word in Hebrew. Of course, in many languages, the word be or is has multiple, is very significant definitions and uses, and it's the same way in Hebrew. We're going to see past tense, present tense, but the secret that I have found is that the He and the Yot and the He in sequence are what gives away the basis of this word. Now this one has He, Yot, Tav, He. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm going to say it's Yatha. And we're going to see that the He, Yot, He is very important in later definitions. We're going to see that word again, not the same word, but the same letters, which is another form of the word be or was or is. The next word we have is translated without form. We have Tav, He, and what looks like might possibly be a Yod, but if you look very closely, it's actually a Vav, and the little dot beside it is one of the diacritical marks that's used for pronunciation. So this is really a Tav, He, Vav, and would be pronounced Tahu, or in the dictionary it says Tohu. Most people do say Tohu, but irregardless, it would be Tava or Tahu. And its meaning is, if we go to the dictionary, it means to lie waste or in desolation. That is a desert. Here's the next word. Vav, Bet, He, Vav. The same indication here that we had in the letter here. This is translated as and empty. The initial vav is translated as and the bohu at the end is translated as empty. Notice that these words are similar in sound. It's almost poetic. It's almost rhyming. Tohu v'bohu. And so this would be the word for and empty. So here we see the next word that's translated as and darkness. And we see the and indicated by the initial vav. The next letter looks like a hey, but it is a chet or a chet. It gets the guttural sound chet and the sheen, and this is a final kaf. Final kaf. Because it goes below the line. That's a final form for the letter kaf. So if we just sounded the last part of this, it would be choshech, choshech, and v'choshech would be a sound that would be made for this word. Here we see the word translated as on the face of, and it has an ayin, a lamed with a hyphen, a pei, nun, and yod. The ayin gets the sound literally of I, because that's its original meaning is I, E-Y-E. So we have the I sound, a L sound, a P sound, an N sound, and the last yod is an I sound. So this would be il pani, which would mean on the face of. And here we see the last word in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2a, as we've designated. The word is translated as the deep, and we see that it consists of a tav, a hey, a vav, and a mem. And notice that that's a final mem. It's a boxy, closed box, as distinguished from the samak, which is a closed circle, but it's a boxy circle. But this one is all square angles, so that's a mem. And so this would be pronounced as ta, ha, u, tohum. If you recall, one of the earlier words in this same verse, same section, was tohu, and this is tohum, which indicates a puzzling question. So here we see all three of the words in a row. We have tohu, v'bohu, and tohum. So we've got that rhyming thing, the things that the Jews, the Hebrew language likes to do is to make poetry, and we see that as an example here. The bottom line is, however, we need to understand that these words all have a similar origin, especially tohu and tohum. And if we go back to what is called the primitive root, we find that the tav is not the important part. It's the H, the hey, vav, mem. It is the hum part, and it says the primitive root, it means to make an uproar or agitate greatly. And so the idea here is that the earth being waste and empty was the surface of the earth was boiling and was in great agitation by the movement of the great waters.